Hello, everyone. Welcome back. Thank you for joining the show. My name is Tony Glasgow. I would like to thank you for joining me for season 2 of this podcast. It's been a very exciting journey already. Just doing season 1, I've talked to some very interesting guests. I've heard a lot of good feedback and a lot of good comments. So keep those comments going. If you have not done that, when you click on watching it on your podcast viewer, you can send me a text and just let me know how things are going. If you're watching on YouTube, you can leave a comment in the comment section and I will read those and just get back with you. And I do value those. So if you have something to say about what's going on, what you like, what you don't like, what you'd like to see, and just let me know, I'll get that going for you and mention your name possibly on the show if it's something that we want to move forward with. So I appreciate that. I would like right now to thank my featured businesses that have been helping me out throughout the way. The first one is going to be Brandon that does all my shirts. He's with Clutch Designs. Him and his daughter get things going. They have provided all of the shirts for my show, and I greatly appreciate that. And if you come on my show, you will get a shirt and other gifts. So if you want to be on the show, just let me know. Drop me an email or whatever. But Brandon hooks me up with all the shirts for that, and I appreciate that. He's done a great job. But he also does any type of uniform, printing, design, hats, shirts, complete uniforms, anything that you can come up with, he can help you out with. So check Brandon out. Clutch Designs. Description. The link is going to be in the description. So if you want to check him out, go ahead and do that. The next featured business is Britt's Kicks. He does some wonderful work with the shoes. He puts all kinds of designs, any type of design that you can come up with. He'll put it on a shoe for you. Team names, just anything, cartoon designs. If you check out his Instagram page, it'll show you all the things that he's done, and he shows them beautifully. He shows all of his work and the things that he's done. He's done 3 pair for us, one for my wife, one for myself, and one for my youngest son, and they've all just turned out the best. And he's a great guy. Both of these guys are just great guys, and I know them very well. That's why I trust them to do the things that they do. And I mention them on my show just to give them a little props, and they've been helping me along the way as well. So thanks, guys. I appreciate that. In season 2, I want to do some things a little bit different. I want to go to a little bit different avenues. Starting out, I am talking with a softball advisor. She works with high school students, and she gets them prepared to go through college, because that's a very difficult thing. As we all know, it's a very difficult thing for young athletes, and they need some kind of guidance. And I think she does a really good job with her commits that she's worked with. So her name is Cheri Naudin, and we will be talking with her, and she'll give some great insight. So stay tuned, and if you like the show, leave me a comment. Let me know what's going on. I appreciate it. Enjoy the show. Good evening, Cheri. How are you doing tonight?
I'm doing great. Thanks for having me.
All right. Well, thank you for being here and taking time to be with us. And I know we spoke about 2 months ago, maybe in September. We spoke, and you gave me a little information, a little details, and we finally got this together tonight. So I wanted to start. Go ahead and just tell everyone about your program and exactly what you do with the young ladies and young men.
Awesome. Well, I'm Cheri Naudin. I'm actually the owner of Collegiate Sports Advocate. I started my company July 2015, and literally on the backs of my own children. I have 3 of my own children. My son played every sport. You know, the boys play baseball, football, everything. Oh, okay. My middle daughter played softball, one of the decorated student athletes in her class. She played for Kansas, and then she did a grad assistant at Harding and an assistant coaching job at Harding. She is now the head coach at Maryville out in St. Louis. And she also played for Team Mexico. My youngest daughter played just about everything also, but ended up being our soccer player. She played at University of Central Arkansas. They actually won a Southland title, and she went on to Baylor Law School. An interesting fact that we might cover tonight, she is an NIL and Title IX attorney.
Oh, okay. All right.
I can cover some of those topics for you tonight.
All right. Yes, we'll definitely get into that. So that's a pretty diverse family as far as athletics go. So I just, you said Baylor Law School, is that in Waco as well? Because I'm from Waco.
Yes, that's exactly where that is. So,
okay. Yeah. All right. Did your kids grow up in this area, or is it?
No, we're actually ex-Californians. You know, we're that group of people that migrated in the turn of the 2000s. You know, turn of the century, and we moved here in 2007. Literally, just the quality of life, the way we were raised in California, kind of God country and family people, and so we're like, you know, the pricing of houses and taxes and everything else was really pricing us out. So we moved here. I started doing catcher training and slapper training, which are the girls that hit from the left side in softball. My husband is also he's a full-time employee with Coca-Cola. He's been for many, many years, about to retire, but he is a travel ball coach. And our son is also a travel ball coach here in the DFW area. So across the country, Collegiate Sports Advocate, or as we call it, CSA, is number one in softball. There is not anybody who does what we do at the depth of recruits. We've had 620 commits since 2015. And it really is a unique offering because we take each individual student athlete through their journey. So I've done football, I've done baseball. I have a great national director of baseball right here in DFW also, and then several advocates across the country. We've done basketball, golf, just about any sport. And it's because we customize it along the way. So we have lots of information to share with your audience. I know NIL is a big topic right now. And then just, you know, the social media is a big issue, and every sport does it a little different. But I think in general, we could probably all agree to a concept that I teach. And what I do is I teach that college coaches are the decision maker. And what happens in social media is we all put out what we want to put out, right? Oh, I need to show them lifting my weights. I need to show them that I'm working out. And it's really not what they're looking for. What they're really looking for is your talent layer. Right. So, and really showing it on social media isn't as much as getting them to come see you play. So I kind of use a teaser technique of doing highlights instead of trying to show them everything. It's kind of funny. The college coaches call it barking or vomiting, that there's kids that just put too much content up there, right? And you're like, son, girl, take that down. And it's sometimes not social media ready either. You know, it's like, just work. Yeah.
Could you just give us an example of like what is too much? I mean, are 10 videos, 10 highlight clips too much, or what would be too much?
Yeah. So I kind of like a collage, like show me a little bit of everything you've got. And maybe every couple months, like these kids are doing daily, they're doing weekly, and it's more just that need to put something out there instead of what does the college coach really want to see? And then what I think is a mistake is like Twitter is what I call an open platform. It's anybody's in your audience. So are you just fishing in a big pond, or are you really targeting particular coaches? And there's a misconception that is if I tag that Baylor coach, is he going to see it? Well, not necessarily. They have to go into their mentions. They have to dig a little deeper, and they kind of call it getting hijacked, right? Because they're like, why are you tagging me? I'm not really interested in your talent level. Well, how do you know? So on the female side, our restrictions are still emailing. You can put stuff on Twitter. They can like your Twitter, but they can't really interact with you yet. So it's kind of, I call it braggalicious kind of posting. Oh, look at me, versus targeting a particular coach and saying, hey, coach, are you still looking for a 2026 catcher? Let me show you my short video clip. And you can see my landing page over here with CSA where I have multiple sources to feed you. And that's something I learned along the way, which is give the college coaches what they want. They want transcripts. They want test scores. They want something about you that's just more than, you know, a weekly collage of your workouts, because they kind of expect that you're doing that. So you don't really need to show them that. Show them something special. Show them something unique about yourself. Make it more about your team. Make it more about your club. Make it more instead of the me, or I. Okay. So that's just some tidbits in.
That's very interesting, because the first thing, I guess, you know, I think that as well. The first thing that they want to see is your skill. But I guess in the long run, what they really want you there is also for academics, and that's what you're there for as well. So that makes sense.
Yes.
Yeah.
And it's hard nowadays because, you still are trying to get a college education. You're still trying to get recruited, even though you might be getting some NIL money and making money. And, the boys with Major League Baseball and NFL, they have a chance to get out a little sooner. On the female side, even on volleyball and basketball and soccer, the pro payment, the pro career is still not as financially rewarding on the female side. So we still really push the education, and I'm a big believer they can't take it from you. No matter what you do in your future, you still have your college degree, and then you're set to run your own business. I mean, even if I switch over to NIL a little bit, you have to pay taxes. You have to have an LLC or an S corp. I mean, all of a sudden you're a big kid now. You're not, a teenager anymore with mom and dad using you as a write-off. Now all of a sudden you have to, run a business. And so, going and getting a college degree in a business environment while you're being a student athlete, always a great match. Yeah,
that is very important. And that's one of the things I'm trying to stress to my kids as well. They know that, but I just want to reiterate to them all the time is that, like you said, that degree can't be taken away from you once you get it. It can't be taken away from you, and it does go a long way. So that is a very good point. I'm glad you brought that up, because that's something that, can be skipped with all the hype of getting seen and getting noticed and all that. The grades and your academics can be skipped. Yeah. So I'm glad you brought that up.
And I think they focus so much on, I'm going to be rich and look at me. And, I think I'm a 5-star athlete, but does the rest of the world really value me as that kind of, money earner? It's such a small percentage of student athletes that actually will make NIL money or that big money. We all hear about it because it's a splash in the news, but the other 99 percenters, we got to get an education. We have to keep our grades right. No college coach wants to get that report on Friday and tell you that their kid is ineligible.
Yeah.
And that happens. It happens more than we want to know. There's rules within my own contract. There's rules in the NCAA contract about your grades and your academics. So I think a lot of times people tend to skip that over because they're so focused on that 4 years of being able to go out there and play.
Yeah. So you touched a little bit earlier about NIL. So let's go ahead and get into that. I've talked with another gentleman about it. He's mainly in sports in the Southeast. So he gave me a little information on it, but can you elaborate on what you know about it?
Love it. We just had a Twitter live that we tried to merge with a TikTok live, and our audio and visual didn't work out so good on Twitter, but we do have it on TikTok. We're pretty active on TikTok. But what just happened today is that the NCAA has announced that they've ruled now that they're not going to have the national letter of intent anymore, the NLI. They're going to get rid of that. So I don't know exactly when that's going to happen. They just ruled on it today. But that kind of made sense when you're talking about name, image, and likeness. It's so funny how the acronyms are so close here. Yeah. But when you're talking about name, image, and likeness, they're not tying it to your athletic performance. They're not tying it to your contract with the NCAA. I call it funny money or monopoly money coming from business or coming from sport or coming from donors. And it's not necessarily tied to your athletic performance. So when in the female side, right now, our 2026ers are, September 1st was their opening day to go make their recruiting decisions. And we've got several big commits already that have come off the board, but it's all verbal. It's all, well, you're going to get this and you're going to get that and you're going to get this and that. And the rule is they can't walk away with a piece of paper that they just talked about. And it's a whole bunch of new terms like there's one scholarship I was mentioning to a client today. It was called the Alston Award, and it's an athletics scholarship that's awarded through a foundation for specific requirements. And it was given to one of my student athletes that just signed in the P4 in the ACC. And we had to do a little bit more investigation about it because it got confused with their stipend money and their living money that they do get. And they were like, is that NIL money? Who's that coming from? I mean, so many questions that they don't know anything about. I try to prepare them. I do a visit prep before they go, but each school's offering is something different. So when it comes out, then we have to kind of digest it and give a little headway to it. But The last 2 years that I've seen NIL, it's a lot of, well, this and well, that, other than we have that big $1 million Nigeri Kennedy that just got the $1 million from Mahomes up at Texas Tech. And what I liked about that one is it was spread across all sports up there. And so they each got a certain amount of money. I don't know all the details to her offering, but my understanding is she had to come in with a lawyer and, an agent type of situation, because now we're talking about big dollars and big promises. And then you have the other football guy, and I'm bad at the names. We just talked about it earlier today. The UNLV quarterback that came over on the promise of $100,000 that was a verbal from an assistant coach. Well, in a legal environment, that could be perceived as a representative of the university. And he's like, hey, where's my money? Well, we didn't promise you that. What are you talking about? Well, all that NIL is a bunch of chatty. So that's why my daughter and her firm has an attorney that is married to Matt Lehnert. So they started a section of NIL that they focus on. They started that last April, and they're really going after that. And they're also trying to consider what the Title IX effects will be for the females. And how will this come across? Will it be from the university? And then, Dartmouth just had, their basketball team signed to be employees. That's a whole different level of responsibility and relationship with the university. And, I'm an ex-corporate America person, 28 years. So I'm all about, equal treatment. And when these athletes are in the business now, they are not employees of the university. So if there's an issue, the HR department gets involved with the coaches, but the student athlete has no accountability. They can get up on TikTok and do and say whatever they want. And you see it every year. I was mistreated. My coach was horrible. But investigation, what? You can't investigate after they come to social media and say their piece, because they're not held accountable to a code of conduct in the corporate environment within the human resource department. There might be one, for their team, but it's not addressing playing time and how you handle, discord. I would imagine, and again, it just happened today, so we don't know the effects, and I haven't tested it with any college coaches yet, but I would imagine that now you're going to have to put things in writing. Hey, we're going to make you this offer. 75% comes from here and 25% comes from here. And here's your, I think they're going to have to, I would expect that they're going to detail it out a little bit better and have a little bit more substance behind what it is we're really offering you and how it's going to be, sent out, because that's the other thing. Is it coming from athletics? Is it coming from your academics? Is it coming from these awards, this Alston Award? Is it coming from FAFSA? I mean, where is the money actually coming from? And what are the stipulations on each of those funds, right?
Yeah.
Because that's a misunderstanding when you're 18 years old and you're thinking you're getting a full ride, but oh, my bad, we forgot to tell you about the food card and the parking ticket, and that you need a scooter because you can't drive a car here. I mean, there's just all kinds of things that come up along the way.
So is that part of what you do also, is you kind of work as much as you can with the athlete once they're on campus to try to help them figure those things out?
Absolutely.
Okay.
Literally one of the greatest things of my substance is I start with an onboarding call, and then I have a check-in. They have to check in with me every Tuesday. We have a little system that we do. And then, we go through the mass marketing and we try to get as much exposure as possible. Our goal is to get them to see them play, and then, guiding them through what camps to go to, how to spend the money so that they're not just getting, caught in all the gimmicks that go on out there in the sport. And then we do what we call an end of season review and a next season planning. So, when fall is done, or like in football, when football's done, we review it and say, okay, you're going to play spring 7-on-7, or are you going to, run track and field? I mean, what are you going to do during the spring? And then what, preparing, I do SMART goals with them twice a year to prepare them for what exactly that they're trying to accomplish. What do you want to run your 40 in? Well, what are you doing to run that 40? Are you working on your own? Well, I'm working with my high school. Well, is your high school working better than everybody else, or do you need a personal trainer? Just stuff like that to take them to the next level. And then I also do 30 days of yoga with them in December. And
That's
then,
helpful. That is very helpful.
Yep. We do all kinds of arm care and band care for softball and baseball. But the real one is I prep them before they go on visits. I prep them when they get their offers. We actually do a decision grid that I've created over time to help them uncover all of these, what if this happens? What if the coach leaves? What about the portal? I mean, there's another can of worms for us.
Yeah. So what is your average age student that you start with?
I tend to like 8th and 9th graders on the female side because they're a little bit more physically mature and a little bit deeper in, and they're usually in a club sport. So softball, volleyball, basketball, soccer. I'm very good at soccer because of my youngest daughter. And they have traditional seasons and it's very club centric, right? They do play high school, but not as much at the elite levels. And then for boys, I tend to take boys football. I like in sophomore year, basketball, sophomore, junior. Track and field runs very late. I've had a couple track and field, so usually they don't come in till usually about their junior year, and they have very traditional seasons, and they're very time centered and metric centered, so it's a little bit easier to find the right fit in a shorter time frame. How are their grades? What's set up today, and then are they willing to look left and look right? And, open up the doors. I always ask for film. I like to see film. Yeah. One of my gifts, I think, is I understand the layers of the sport. I understand the talent level. But the biggest advantage I have is I have a great relationship with college coaches. So and especially on the softball side, I can call a softball coach and say, hey, can you hook me up with your baseball coach? Or, hey, how about your golf coach? And it's a little bit of a friendlier handshake. But one thing that is the best thing I ever did, and I literally prayed upon it and went to sleep when I started my company, is what the heck is an advocate really going to be? And it's really, I decided to stay with them until they graduate college. Never did I dream COVID. Never did I dream the portal. Then junior college became a very popular thing because of COVID, because they weren't able to go out. So I literally had 12 transfers this season. First time ever I've had that many. And it's not something I try to do, but it's what's happening in the sport. And these kids that are out there, I mean, they get cut and then they're like, well, I just go into the portal. Well, there was 2,500 female student athletes in softball alone stuck in the portal. So the portal does, just because you put your name in and you want to shop around doesn't mean you keep your job or you get placed. And there's a lot of misunderstanding about why to go in the portal or not. So I try to have a conversation with them before they select to do that. I said, what are we doing? Why are we doing it? What are you expecting on the outcome? Hey, just because there's a coach change doesn't mean you might have a better coach. I mean, if things aren't going so good and your coach maybe got let go, or they found, that it wasn't, for their future, maybe you get some better. But there's a lot of knee-jerk emotional decisions made in sport. I think mostly in baseball and softball. I don't see as much of it on soccer, but definitely you see it in volleyball. It's very contentious for those top spots. I don't know, honestly, all of my children played sport. I don't know how somebody would go through it today unless you're in the business of sport. Now, your clinicians, your coaches, everybody's hands are on deck, man. Everybody wants to be part of the finish, part of the joy of signing day. But we're the people that get in the trenches with them and really help them get themselves packaged up and getting things right and getting that feedback early enough from coaches, because we're all not going to our school of our choice, right? Yeah. That's a big message for the parents. We don't necessarily get to pick our school of choice. In 10 years, almost 1,200 student athletes, I've had maybe 2 that not only are studying the degree they thought they were going to study, but actually, picked their school and was in with it from the get-go. And one was just recently a Baylor commit. Yeah. She was very committed to that for 2 years. Now she shopped around a little bit, but man, number one, that was it. And she was their number one. And that's the first time I've seen that in 10 years.
Wow.
So it's very rare to do that. I kind of call it a soda machine. You don't get to push the Diet Coke button and have the Diet Coke fall out. Yeah. You usually get a can that explodes and then you go, oh my God, there's no more Diet Coke. Now what am I going to choose?
Right. So. All right. Well, this is a lot of information. It's very good information. I know a lot of young ladies and young men will get a lot of information out of this. Why don't you go ahead and just let everyone know how they can get in touch with you, your site and your email address that you want to give out?
Awesome. I love it. And I appreciate this opportunity because there really is so much to recruiting. My website is collegiatesportsadvocate.com. My Gmail address is collegiatesportsadvocate@gmail.com. I am on TikTok, Collegiate Sports Advocate. I am on Instagram, but there's underscores between the three words, Collegiate _ athlete Collegiate Sports Advocate, and they're underscored. And then on Twitter, we're at CSA _athletes. Okay. And that way I cover all of the athletes up on Twitter. We have a very, very robust Twitter program. And then we do lives. I just started back up on some lives on Twitter. Okay. But I'm on TikTok every Monday night at 8 with a group of people. Okay. And, we go live and, take questions from the audience and it's not just recruiting. One of the guys is a travel ball coach. Again, we're very popular on the softball side. So you'll see our audience is very much softball and baseball. But we get a mindset coach. She's up there. She's fantastic. Lots of tips and techniques about, how to get through the emotional part of being an athlete. And that's a difficult part. And then another gal, she is just a dynamo influencer up on social media. She just really knows how to get things done. So that's kind of our team. And, we're here to answer questions. I'll always welcome a free call. I'll give you as much content and information as possible. And I do social media. I teach a time management training program right away and start to, carve out an individual plan right from the start. So.
All right. That's good. So I would like everyone to try to catch one of these Monday night shows because I caught the end of the one this week. I joined it really, really late. And so only caught a few minutes of it, but it seemed like there was a lot of activity on it. And so if you guys are interested, get on that and check it out. And also check out Cheri's site. Once again, it's Collegiate.
Shoot me over a message. Love to chat with you. I'd love to come see some football in DFW. Who's the team to watch this year?
Well, there's a lot. We're at Geyer, and so we're okay. We're doing all right. We're having a little tough time right now, but we're getting over that. North Crowley's good. Capella's good. Of course, DeSoto and out in that area down in South Dallas, those teams are good down there. So. Where are you located? Where do you normally?
I'm at east of Princeton, up at those Princeton Lake, just before Lake Lavon. So our kids went to Princeton High School, some kind of that McKinney, Princeton. Yeah. A lot of our student athletes. I had several at Denton Geyer. Oh, really? I've several softballers. Aubriella Martinez, she just graduated. She's headed to Creighton. All right. And I have Lauren Jones. She went up to Howard University. So. Oh, all right. She's quite the superstar, and I'm sure I'm missing somebody else because they're all over. But I literally have 620 committed and almost 1,200 kids nationwide. So. Okay, well, those are great numbers, and hopefully we can pump those numbers up for you and get you some more clients and more commits. So once again, I thank you for coming on, and maybe a couple months we'll get you going, get you on the show again when softball season comes around, maybe in the spring. Love it.
Yeah.
Happy to answer questions and give you insight.
All right. Thanks a lot, Cheri. You have a good night.
Thank you. Have a good night.
All right. All right. Welcome back. Thank you. That was a wonderful show. Thank you, Cheri, for all the information that you've given us. And we'll definitely take that on further with the people that need it. I appreciate that. Thank you for coming on, and we wish you much success in the future. If you like the show, leave me a comment, subscribe on YouTube, subscribe in the podcast viewer or podcast listener that you listen to. And I'll tell you this, one person that donates the minimum amount can provide for 3 months of shows. So one person, if you donate the minimum amount, if you have a subscription on your podcast player, that pays for 3 months of shows. So that's very helpful. The minimum amount you can do is very, very helpful to me, and I appreciate it. So if you can do that, you can. If not, just keep listening and give me support. Drop me some comments and let me know what's going on. I appreciate it. Y'all have a good day. See y'all.